Hi all, welcome to Geeks for Geeks. My name is Nitin Kaplas. So today we are solving a problem on very interesting topic, that is recursion. So our first problem here is palindrome string. Let's read the question first. Here our question said we are given a string S. We have to check that given string is palindrome or not. So in the first example, our string is ABBA, right? Here the output is true. It means 1. If I talk about second example, here my string is A, B, C. So output is 0. Let's talk about first what is palindrome. Here the definition of palindrome is a palindrome string is a sequence of character that reads the same forward and backward. Or in other words, we can say that it remains unchanged when reads in a reverse order, right? That's the main part of our definition of palindrome. Okay, now let's see couple of examples. So if we see this string is palindrome or not. So what I'm doing is I just read from the back and store in string 1, for example. So here from the back we have A, B, B, C, B, B, A. Now let's check both the strings. Our actual string is matched with str1 or not? Yeah, it's matched. It means it's a palindrome. We have to return true in this case, right? Now let's check for the second example. So again I am storing in str1 and read from the back where we have A, B, B, A. Now let's match. It's matching or not? Yes, it's matched. So in this case also I am return true. Okay. Now let's move to the third example. In this example we have str1 is SKEEG. So it's match or not? Not. It's not match. So here we are returning false, right? It's not a palindrome. Okay, so how we can solve this question? Simple idea to solve this question is using recursion. What we are doing in the recursion, as you know, we have to solve the actual problem with the help of sub problem. So same idea we are using here also. So the two conditions to solve this problem is, right? If I prove that substring from S1 to Sn minus 2 is palindrome, now if it's palindrome, I have to just check S0 character equal to S of n minus 1 or not. If these two conditions are matched, it means our given string is palindrome, right? We have to return true in this case. If any of the two conditions is not matched, we have to return false, right? Now let's see how we can solve this question. What I am doing here is I am creating a two-pointer approach here. So first pointer is pointing to A, second is pointing to the last of it, right? So let's indexing it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So in this case, I am checking this and this is match. Yes, it's match. Now what I'm doing is I am going one step forward in the start part and one step back in the end part, right? So let me do it. Now my two pointer is pointing to B and here B. It's match. Yes, it's match. Again, I am going one step ahead in the start part and in the back part I move one step back. So I am pointing to this. Now here the base case arises when if my start equals to end, we have to return true in this case, right? Because a single character is always a palindrome, right? Okay, so this is my first case. Now let's check about this case, this string. Same we have to do. Start is pointing to first and end is pointing to the last stop. It's match. Yes, it's match. Now we have to move one step ahead in the first part and one step back in the end part. Now start is pointing to this and end is pointing to this. It's match. Yes, it's match. Now what I'm doing is again I go one step ahead. Now if you see my start is pointing to this and end is pointing to this. It means that my start is greater than S. So what I'm doing is here also a base case when start is greater than S, greater than end, we have to return true, right? So these two are the base case while solving this question. I hope you understand the intuition. Now let's code this. So here I am writing start pointer, which is 0 right now, and my end is s dot length minus 1. Okay, now I create a helper function where I'm passing these three parameters. Okay, let's create it. Let's create the helper function. Okay, so here I am passing string as reference. So what is my base case? My base case is if start is greater than or equal to end, we have to return true in this case. Okay, else what I am comparing two conditions. If s of start equals s of end, okay, and we have to go further. It says start is +1 and end is -1. If both the conditions are satisfied, we have to return true, else we have to return false. Okay, let's check it's working fine or not. Yeah, it's compilation is good. Let's submit and check. Yeah, as you see, it's fully submitted. Okay, now let's talk about the time complexity. So what is time complexity here? If you see, what I'm doing is I just doing one step ahead and one step back. So if you see, my number of iteration to solve this problem is n by 2, right? Okay, so we can say that n by 2, we can say that it's big of n, or here my complexity is, we can say big of n. Hope you understand this question. Now let's move to the next question. The question is delete middle element of the stack. Let's read the question first. Our question said we are given a stack, we have to delete the middle element of the stack without using any additional data structure, right? Here the middle element is size of the stack plus 1 divided by 2, right? That is the middle element. So here in the first example, we have stack 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and the modified stack after deleting the middle element of the stack, our output is 10, 20, 40 and 50, right? In the second example, our stack is 10, 20, 30, 40. Our modified stack after deleting the middle element of it, it should look like 10, 30, 40, right? Let's see its examples. So as I said, in the first example, value of n, which is the size of it, which is 5, right? And here the formula is n plus 1 by 2, right? That should be the middle element. What is it? 3. So third element is this. We have to delete this. After deleting this, it should look like 10, 20, 40, 50, right? Here the element is odd, n equal to odd, right? Here n is even, which is 4. Let's see what's the middle it. N plus 1 by 2, which is 4 plus 1 by 2, which means 2.5, which is 2, right? Second element, which is this. We have to delete this. Our output is 10, 30, 40, right? Now, how to delete it? Let's see it. Our stack should look like this, right? It should look like this. Okay. So first index, second index, third, fourth, fifth, right? Now, my main target is to delete this node, right? This is the middle of it. But before deleting 30, I have to delete 10 and 12, 10 and 20 as well, right? But after deleting this, I want that into my stack, right? Okay, so how we can solve this question? To solve this question, I am using here index variable, right? Where the index is tell me like it is n by 2 or not, right? So let me pass the variable index. So initially it is 0, right? Let me pass into a function which is f function. Here I am passing index and value of n, which is 5 right now. Now my main condition is if index equal to n by 2 or not. If you see here, initially I am passing 0 as my index and my value of n is 5, right? So it is not matched with my base case, right? It's not matched. So what I'm doing is I want to delete this first, right? Which is 10. So how I can delete? But I also want after deleting that. So for that I want to store here first. X equal to s dot top. I have to write. So what I'm doing is, what is x here? X is s dot top. Sorry, s dot top. We have to write here s dot top, right? Okay. So what is s dot top? Which is 10. After that, I have to write s dot pop. Okay. So it means that it should be deleted. Okay. 10 is deleted. Now again I have to call f function and increase the index of it. So here I am calling f function with increase the index plus 1 n, right? Now if you see here, now it should look like this. Again I go to the base case, index is equal to n by 2. No, it's not. Again I have to store x, which is top element 20, right? And I am popping it. Okay. Again I go for this recursive call where I am calling to 5. If you see this case, index is 2, n by 2 is 2. It is go into the base case. So what I am doing is, that is my main target to delete. So here I am writing s dot pop. After that I return it, right? Let's return it. Now it's popping it. Now I am returning back to this function. Okay. After returning back, the control go back to after this line. What I have to write? I want to push that element 10 and 20. So here I am pushing it. S dot push x, right? That's the main part of our question. So what I'm doing is, when I go back, I'm pushing 20 into it. Let me push 20 into it. Again, when I go back, again I'm pushing the value of x, which is 10. So if you see, 10, 20, 40, 50 is my main modified stack, right? That's it. Let's code this now. So what I'm doing is, I'm creating an index variable, right, 0, and calling a helper function where I'm passing stack and index variable and the size of stack. Okay, now let's create the function helper. Okay, so my base case is, if index equal to n by 2, what I'm doing is I'm popping it and returning back. Simple. If it's not, I have to store my top element, and after that we have to pop it, right? After that we are calling that function again. So here I'm calling index plus 1 and passing n into it. After this function over, we have to return that value also. Again we have to push that into our stack. So here I am writing s dot push x, right? So this is a simple code of it. Let's compile and check it's working fine or not. Yeah, the compilation is good. Yeah, as you see, all the cases are passed, right? So let's talk about time complexity now. If you see, we have to reach up to n by 2. So these are the number of iterations, right? It means that our time complexity is big of n by 2, which we can say it's a big of n, right? As simple as that. Hope you understand this question. Now let's move to next question. Here our next question is subsets. So here the question said, we are given a set of positive integer, right? We have to return all its subset, right? So here in this first example, we are given an array where the array element is 1, 2, 3, and we have to give as an output all its subset, right? So let's first understand what's the meaning of subset here. So subset of array is a collection of elements, right? It's a collection of elements from the given array that are selected without changing the order of it, right? So let's analyze our output which is given in the given example. So this is our given example, right? So first subset is empty subset, right? Which contain nothing in it. Okay. So here the main line is without changing the order. That you have to keep in mind. Without changing the order of element, right? Okay, that's the most important line. So if you see here, when I am reached to one index or said as zero index, so one is my subset, right? Now let's move further. If I fix one, right, 1 2 is another subset. Okay, now 1 2 3 is another subset, right? If I neglect the second from it, 1 3 is another subset, because here I am not changing the order of element, right? Now let's fix my second index. If you see, second is my subset, right? If I move forward, 2 3 is my subset, right? Yes, it's right. Now in the third case, if I am a fixing third, now 3 is my another element, right? Or said as it's a another subset. Okay, so that's the all subset. If you count it, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, right? This is my answer. Okay, we have to return these things, right? So if you just compare with my original output, here we have to return in the form of sorted order. Null 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 3 2 2 3 3, right? This should be the order of it. It means we have to sort this given subset, right? We have to sort it, right? So let's understand a bit how we can solve this question. So this is my actual problem. Let's solve first. Let's calculate first sub problem of it. If I just calculate subset of 1 2 as my array, right? What will be it? Null, nothing is there. 1 1 2 2, right? These are the possible subset of 1 2 array. Now here if I just go for the actual array, so I just added 3 here, right? Now how we can modify from my sub problem, right? So if you see here, in this case what I am doing is I just do two steps: include it, not include it. If you see here, this is my first subset. What I am doing here is not include. If it not include, this is my first subset for this case, right? If I am including 3 in it, so it should look like this. 3 is my subset. Yes. Now, in the second subset, 1 is there. Not include, include it. 1 3. 1 2. Not include, 1 2. Include it. 1 2 3. We have to add 3 in it. Here in 2, I am not included 3. It should look like this. 2. If I am included, 2 3 will be there. So easily we can solve it using my previous solution, or we can say that from the sub problem, right? So if we are solving sub problem, if we are solving problem using sub problem, so here we can say that this problem we can easily solve using recursion, right? It's a recursion problem. Okay, now how we can solve it? Let's see it. This is a recursive tree of my given input, right? So if you see, this is my array, right? What I'm doing in this question is I'm just passing one index, right? Where the index value is 0 and my n value is size of it, which is 3, right? So what I'm doing here is this is my index, right? Let me change the color. Now this is my index variable. This is my size of it, which is n, right? What I'm doing is I am here writing not include, right? When I go for not include, I just increase my index size. Here it's 0, here it's 1. Now I have to check if index, this is my base case, index equal to n. No, it's not. let's move forward. Not include. I'm go for the not include part. Again 2 3 will be there, right? Again it's not equal, index not equal to n. Again I go for index plus 1. Here what I see, index is equal to n, right? It means that what's your values in your vector? Nothing is there. Let me write here vector, right? This is my vector, which is v1, right? And I am storing all values, for example here. Let's suppose this is my actual answer vector. Okay. So here my v1 is empty, so I'm just insert empty into it in my actual array, right? Now when I move forward, I am returning this thing to this parent function. Now here I am included, I am including it. What I am include? Value at second index, which is 3. So let me write here 3 in my vector v1. Okay. Now if you go further, you are encountered with index equal to n. Again we encountered with it. What we have in my v1, I just push into my answer vector, right? Here I am writing this thing and I have to return here. Okay, if you see here, what I am storing into my answer, that is 3. Okay, now this function is also returning back. Again it's returning back. What you have here, it's empty now. Now it's time to add, or we can say that include, right? So what I'm add here, index value 1. What is it? 2. So let me add here 2. Okay, now we have 2 here. Again we have 2 here. Again I go for the not include part. So we again reach to our base case. So what I'm doing here is I just include 2 into it, right? And we are returning back. Again, when I came back, right, I just include or add into my v1. What I am adding into v1 is index 2 value, which is 3. So let me add here 3 as well. Okay, 2 3 will be there. Now when I go for further, right, including part, already I am adding 3 into it, right? I go into the base case, which is 3 equal to 3. Again I push all the value of v1 into answer variable, right? So here I am adding 2 3. Okay, now when I came back, returning back, again I return back. So what I am seeing here is, right, I again back to the main function. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm adding the value which is at index 0, which is it 1. Let me add 1. Again I go this side, which is including part, right? Now reaching I'm here, so which my vector is 1 only. Again I go for the not include part, right? Again I go for the not include part. So what I have value 1. So let me add here 1. Okay, now when I go to the parent function, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm add value index 2, which is 3. So let me include 3 also here. So 1 and 3 is there. So when I go further, so here I am including, right? Again I am calling it. Okay, I am reaching to my base case, right? So I have 1 3 into it. Okay, so I am adding here 1 3, right? Now I return back. I again return back. Now I am adding value at index 1, right? What is it? 2. Let me add 1 and 2 here. Okay. So when I go further, it's an including part, right? Now I have 1 and 2 here. Again I go in this case, right? Which is not include, right? We encountered with my base case, right? What I have 1 2. Let me store here. So let me just replace this because I am not using this. I store 1 2 here. Okay. Now when I store 1 2, again I return back to parent function. Now it's time to include the value at index 2, which is 3. Let me add here 3 and I go further, which is including part, right? Where I again reach to the base case, which is 3 3, which is index equal to n, right? So what I have 1 2 3. Let's store into it. I am storing this, right? After that, this function is over, so it return back. Again, this function is over, return back. This function over, return back. So after that, we have to return to the main function that answer vector of vector, which includes first subset, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth, right? And this we have to return, right? As you see in the problem, we have to sort it because our answer, our output should be in the sorted order. Now let's go for the coding part. So first is we have to create a vector of vector. Let's suppose it's variable name answer. Now it's time to create vector, right? Which is, let's suppose it's a name as v1, right? Now here I am creating a variable index which is pointing to 0, right? And n is size of it. Okay. Now let me create a helper function where I am passing array index value of n and v1 and answer variable. Okay. Now let's create the helper function. This is my variable index, and after that we have n. Okay, so here we have v1 vector. So here I am creating vector of vector, name as answer. We have to pass as reference because we want the updated value of it. Okay, so here my base case is when my index equal to n. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing vector v1 into answer vector, vector of vector. Okay, and it's time to return. If it's not, we have to go into the left side, which is not include. So let me write here not include. Here we have to increment the index n, v1 and answer. Now when the left part is over, it's time to include it. Go to the right side of it. So here I am writing included. So before included, we have to add that value into my v1. Okay. After that, we go to the right side of it. Right. So this is a simple code. At the end of it, as I said, we have to return into the sorted order. So let me sort it. Okay. At the end, we have to return the answer variable. Let's check it's fine or not. Yeah, it's working fine. Let's submit and check. Yeah, as you see, all the cases are passed. So let's talk about the time complexity now. So we can easily analyze our time complexity with the help of this recursive tree. So if we have three values in my array, right, n equal to 3, so our output is of size 8, right? So it means that our here recursive tree is 2 की power 3, right, which is subset 8, right? So here the time complexity is, right, so time complexity of this solution is 2 की power n, right? 2 की power n, right? Hope you understand this. Thank you so much. Hope you like this video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you get the notification when we are uploading a new video. Thank you so much.